Back in '83, when I designed my first aircraft, my motives were pretty simple. The 30 to 40-year-old production airplanes didn't get it for me, and I didn't really care for the home builds at the time either. So I set about designing my own airplane. It seems over the years that I've been pretty fortunate in that the planes that I've designed, the planes that I've wanted, our customers have wanted as well.
That first plane, the LancAir 200, now resides in the Experimental Aircraft Association's museum in Oshkosh. With a top speed that blew away all the other planes in its class, production or kit, it set the standard for an industry that now outsells production aircraft 3 to 1. LancAir kit aircraft are flying on 5 continents in 40 countries, bringing freedom and unparalleled performance in their categories to thousands of pilots around the world. LancAir's fleet of aircraft have won numerous outstanding design and best new design awards since that first plane. And in recognition of his positive impact on the industry, Lance Neibauer was given the August Raspet Award by the Experimental Aircraft Association. Lance has also received rave reviews from outside the aviation industry. He garnered a Top 10 Designers of the Year award from Design News magazine. And the LancAir 200 was put on display in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York.
I've been an airplane enthusiast for a long time. There is no comparison this airplane to any other general aviation airplane alive. It goes faster, gets you there, very easy airplane to fly, and it's a good-looking airplane. You always draw a crowd anywhere you are.
It seems most aircraft designers don't seem to care too much about style when they're designing an airplane. With my artist background, style has always been a really key element to me. And luckily, my ideas about style are pretty compatible with Mother Nature's notions about aerodynamics. Winning awards is, of course, always nice, but we've come to learn that priority one is to our customers. It seems that our customers usually become personal friends, and even now, many of our staff started out as customers building a LancAir.
Everyone at LancAir knows they're on a very special team, a team driven by pride to make sure that every customer we have is happy with their kit. We're here to help you every step of the way. You'll experience this team concept at LancAir from the very beginning. Our service department will structure your shipments to meet your building schedule. And during the building process, our online technical support will answer any questions you might have about assembly or operation of your aircraft. And when you're ready to fly, our unique first flight program will enhance the safety of your first flight.
I took advantage of the test flight and inspection. They come and inspect your plane, and then when it's ready to go and they're satisfied with all the little problems you may have are fixed, then you go out and fly. And like I say, there's no substitute for experience. So the man to fly the plane for the first time is one of the test pilots from LancAir.
Our customer pre-flight, flight test, and flight training programs are unique to this industry, and I don't know of any kit company or production company that offers such all-encompassing programs.
This program has 2 sections, pre-flight inspections and first flight testing. In the pre-flight inspections, we'll fly out an inspector on a shared cost basis to completely check the airworthiness of your LancAir. We'll send our inspectors around the world to help ensure that you built your aircraft properly. In our first flight test program, we can provide you with one of our test pilots, or you can come to one of our approved facilities where we'll train you to fly the same kind of plane you're building. LancAir's good safety record is a testament to the effectiveness of these 2 programs and underscores our commitment to long-term customer satisfaction.
What it all comes down to is you can have the best-looking, best-performing kit plane on this planet, but it's got to be easy to assemble.
I thought it would be much more time-consuming and take a lot more expertise on my part, but it turned out that it was possible for me to build it.
Our composite systems are certainly not the cheapest, but they are clearly the best. They enable us to keep the tightest control over the process, and that translates into value to our customers.
We start with the latest in advanced composites. Pound for pound, these materials produce the strongest, stiffest, and lightest airframes possible, and they're easy to work with. Our aircraft could never have achieved their level of overall performance without these materials. Composites offer far more freedom. If a certain design offers a more beautiful and aerodynamic profile, we can build it.
I had never worked with any composites before I built the airplane. I've done a lot of metal work and a lot of machining, but nothing to do with composites. And I found them to be very, very easy to work with, much easier than metal. You can correct mistakes that you make with composites, where you're doing the pieces over with aluminum. So it's very, very easy to work with.
Run your hand down the wing of an aircraft built with traditional materials, and you'll know one of the reasons we went with composites. There are no drag-inducing rivets, no bumpy lap joints, no awkward angles. We're able to achieve aerodynamic accuracies that translate into less drag and more speed. Composites also don't rot, rust, or corrode. They offer better damage tolerance, can be seamlessly repaired when necessary, and benefit from a nearly infinite fatigue life. All of this works to enhance the long life of your investment. Not all composites are alike. Our high-temperature epoxy pre-preg carbon fiber and e-glass structures offer the highest strength-to-weight ratio in the business. Most of the earlier wet layup polyester or vinyl ester systems used inexact means to add resin, resulting in up to 25% more weight with no gain in strength. LancAir's supplier of composites guarantees every batch and roll we use to within a 2% resin content. They conduct extensive testing during the manufacturing process to ensure all the specifications we've stipulated. Then we do extensive testing on the materials ourselves. We patterned our manufacturing after commercial aviation manufacturers' systems. Our pre-pregs are cured under vacuum pressure at 270 degrees Fahrenheit in a tightly controlled environment.
We've changed over the years. In the early days, we contracted out virtually all of our engineering. Today, with as many projects going as we typically have, we've seen the need to bring much of this engineering in-house. We do still use outside specialists for specific areas, such as flutter analysis. Strength and fire resistance are key elements in our component selection.
All LancAir kits use DuPont's Nomex honeycomb cores. 40% stronger than typical foam cores, these cores are also fire resistant. They will not support a flame and produce no toxic fumes. That means the primary structure of your aircraft will be fire resistant and self-extinguishing, a claim very few kit plane makers can make. LancAir also has an in-house metal fabrication department, so we can fabricate the highest quality landing gear, engine mounts, and control systems. Constant inspection of components ensures the highest design and engineering standards. All our kits utilize our unique double joggle alignment system.
Every part has a single and a double joggle. You'll see that this piece, which is representative of the tail cone, and this is the vertical fin that would plug into it. It's a matched overlap joint. This piece drops into it. In doing so, it gives you an alignment. It essentially is a pre-alignment for you. Then we use a structural adhesive underneath, and we step this back so it can illustrate a little bit better. We use pop rivets as a clamping fixture. They're later drilled out. The structural adhesive is the primary bond, and into this single channel that's remaining are two wet, what we call bid tapes. Two wet tapes are laid in there. That brings you up flush to surface. It's a real simple micro finish, and you're done.
Another way LancAir has designed simplicity into the building process is by making the wings detachable. All components can be pre-aligned at your building site. Then the wings removed for trailering to the site where the final assembly will take place. Attaching the gear to the fuselage and eliminating hydraulic disconnects make all our kits easy to trailer to a local painting facility or the airport. Inclusion as a principal member of NASA's Advanced General Aviation Transport Experiments testing program demonstrates LancAir's leadership role in the industry.
We've been really busy in the last few years with testing programs with NASA. Some of these programs have included damage tolerance, fatigue testing, de-ice, lightning strike, as well as advanced manufacturing techniques. Much of this will filter into the kit plane development and actually help shape our future.
For example, it was these tests that spawned our new rib and control surface design. These and other industry programs will reduce weight, reduce assembly time, enhance safety, and increase the overall performance of your LancAir.
Testing doesn't end with our airframes. We've done exhaustive testing with MT and Hartzell to ensure the proper combination of prop and engine to our airframe.
LancAir has chosen Continental and Lycoming as our engine suppliers. These two companies manufacture the best engines in the industry with a long and distinguished safety record. From the Lycoming IO320 found in our 320 Mark II to the Continental TS IO550 in the LancAir 4P, you'll find an engine perfectly suited to your plane. We also have our own avionics department where we custom pre-assemble and test a complete avionics board with the components you specify. All you do when you receive one of these boards is plug it in and go. Our test pilots and engineers are constantly performing flight tests to increase the number of options you can include in your plane. One of the options that's come out of this program is our Outback landing gear for the 320 and 360. We had to do a redesign of not only the gear, but the airframe as well, to accommodate our customers' wish to have unimproved strip capabilities.
How long does it take to build? That's the always asked question, and it seems a never-ending story.
LancAir kits have been completed in as little as 1,100 hours, but the time it takes you depends on the goals you have for your plane. For example, we've had customers that have spent thousands of hours on the paint job alone.
Assembling any aircraft is obviously a sizable task, but when broken down into small elements with a good set of plans, it becomes a relatively easy process. While assembly times will always vary, I can say that our fast build kits will assemble faster than any other comparable kit in the industry. If anyone tells you that their plain old aircraft kit will assemble as fast as the LancAir pre-assembled fast build kit, well, you better check around.
LancAir was the first to offer the fast build option on all its kit planes. This means LancAir will complete up to 49% of the building process before you start. It conforms to all of the FAA's 51% guidelines, but will save hundreds of hours on the average LancAir kit. Hour for hour, it will build faster than any other comparable kit on the market. In a typical fast build wing, the ribs are installed, the front spar, the back spar, and fuel bulkheads are installed. Then they're pre-aligned and mated to the fuselage. On the two-seater alone, we've reduced the number of pre-aligned major components you'll have to assemble from over 40 down to about 6. Time savings like these are found in all aspects of the fast build kits. From prop to tail, we're steadily working to make your time to first flight as short as possible.
To give you an idea of just how great these fast build kits really are, you can assemble the LancAir 320 kit in, about 15 seconds.
Another way we're facilitating the building process is to make our manuals and building diagrams clear and easy to follow.
The catalogs and the books, the directions to the airplane are very concise and easy to follow, and it made it very simple.
In a recent survey of LancAir builders, our manuals and directions for assembly were highly rated for their ease of use. Our customers also gave us high marks for our exceptional inventory control on our kits. When they reached for a part, it was there, organized in a professional manner, all matched for strength and reliability. Just another example of LancAir's commitment to quality and safety.
The LancAir 320 and 360 Mark II, although a little bit larger, are direct descendants of my first LancAir 200. They're the fastest in their class, and they offer performance that you can't buy in the production market at twice the price.
With a cruise speed of 235 miles per hour in the 360 Mark II, a range of over 1,000 miles in the 320 Mark II, and an increased center of gravity and cargo capacity, these are true cross-country aircraft. But you won't have to fly halfway across the country to fully appreciate the 320 and 360's superior performance. Capable of impressive aerobatics with a nimble roll rate of up to 140 degrees per second, they deliver all the exhilaration that got you into flying in the first place.
We don't have any inverted oil or fuel systems on the airplane, but some positive G aerobatics are really a great deal of fun. My wife who was intimidated when we started flying the airplane, any airplane, now absolutely loves going upside down and doing loops and rolls, and we just have a great time with it.
We've taken the engine from the Cessna 172 and put it in the LancAir 320. With that same 160 horsepower engine, our 320 tops out at over 250 miles an hour. That's about double the speed of that Cessna, using the same engine, burning the same fuel.
With a 180 horsepower engine, the 360 will typically cruise at over 235 miles per hour and sip a miserly gallon every 25 miles. That's enough get up and go to get you non-stop from Los Angeles to Aspen in 3 hours and 15 minutes.
I get the opportunity to fly a lot. I belong to a flying club, and I've had the airplane as far north as Calgary, Canada for the Calgary Stampede in one of our club activities, and I've taken it as far south as Cabo San Lucas. And we have some great fun times, wonderful trips. It's not many private-sized airplanes you can fly to Cabo San Lucas in one day and make it comfortably, listening to great songs and have comfortable seats and just be totally at home.
Both planes have a center stick configuration, which makes long trips comfortable. Unlike some kit planes that have a big wing carry-through, where you're sitting on the wing, these planes offer a deep footwell and plenty of headroom. Both planes are 42 inches wide. That's the same as the Bonanza, and a couple of inches wider than the Mooney. Some of the favorite options of our customers on these models are the fast build option and the 505 main gear option that enables the planes to use unimproved landing strips.
Since I was going to use this for everything, including aerobatics, I wanted to use the shorter wings, and I get a chance to take it out on weekends and just go like heck with my hair on fire and do some loops and rolls and have a great time with it.
Our 320 and 360 customers agree that these two beautiful planes offer phenomenal performance at an affordable price.
Flying the ES is relaxing from takeoff to touchdown.
The LancAir ES is the four-place workhorse of the LancAir fleet, but it's a workhorse with very good breeding. Like all LancAirs, this plane does not skimp on performance. With cruise speeds of 192 to 225, depending on the engine option, this plane satisfies the need for pilots who want a fast, solid four-place plane with an emphasis on simplicity. This plane has the best performance for a single engine with this payload capacity and fixed gear simplicity. It has cruise speeds comparable to a new Bonanza, but only has the fuel consumption of a Cherokee 140. It's this kind of performance that leads to a useful load of 1,200 pounds and a range of 1,300 miles. If you drop the range to 1,000 miles, the payload goes from 770 pounds to 850. No matter how you stack it, that's quite a bit of cargo.
One thing our planes have been noted for is their great visibility. That's something our customers have come to expect, and that's something we deliver with all of our designs.
The visibility in the ES and all the other LancAirs is expansive. It improves the safety factor when you have an unobstructed view of the air around you. You'll see the difference in the ES and all the other LancAirs.
The ES has what has become a very distinctive LancAir feature, and that's our dual side stick controls. These are really spectacular. They free up the instrument panel and feel completely natural. The ES is a unique airplane for me because it's the first fixed gear that I've ever designed. And the simplicity of all that is really amazing. Even with the gear down and welded, the ES, when compared to the expensive production retractables, not only cruises faster, but it's slower in the pattern.
For the ES, you can choose either a 300 or 210 horsepower Continental engine. These new generation engines have cross-flow heads and tuned induction, which give them equivalent power with 15% less fuel consumption.
In all our four-seat airframes, we use Continental's latest engines. They're termed lean burn engines. The old technique was to lean until it gets rough, then crank in 2 clicks for the family. These new engines run 15% leaner and a whole lot smoother.
At 11,000 feet, they consume approximately 8.4 to 13 gallons per hour. And if you cruise at a higher altitude, economy improves. Put these great engines in front of the roomy four-seat cabin of the ES, and you'll have an economical, stable, and fast airplane.
The LancAir IV was actually my first four-seat design. I resisted that market for quite some time, but when we became a four-person family, I figured it was time to add a four-seater to our stable. When we did decide to get into it, I wanted something that was not just good at performance, I wanted something with spectacular performance.
If you took a plane that cruised at 24,000 feet at 335 miles per hour, could set speed and distance records every time it lifted off, comfortably sat four, and handily carried their luggage, had the performance to avoid the weather or take advantage of a favorable tailwind, and looked like a work of art, you would have the LancAir IV. And you would own the performance you cannot buy at any price in any piston-driven production plane in the world. Everything we could put in a kit plane, we put in this plane. It can have the sophistication of a pressurized cabin and retractable gear. Like the ES, it has a side stick that frees cockpit space. And it has the range and performance characteristics that make it a real alternative to commercial flight.
The LancAir represents a milestone of sorts for all of general aviation, not just the home-built world. Its high speed and over-the-weather capability represents a quantum leap beyond the high-performance, four-place certified singles in production today. It is, in my opinion, the sort of airplane that factories should have been building for at least the past decade. Jack Cox, Sport Aviation.
We took this plane on a trip last year in February. Went to basically Texas, Florida, Turk Islands, Puerto Rico, Grand Cayman Islands, Cancun, up through Mexico, back to Dallas, Texas, and home. 43 different stops, 12,000 nautical miles.
Well, the performance of the aircraft is quite spectacular. It'll cruise at 25,000 feet at a ground speed of, at a true airspeed of 340 miles an hour on 19 gallons an hour. So it'll take you 1,200 nautical miles down the road, which is really spectacular for a piston engine airplane.
The LancAir IV is the fastest four-seat piston in the world. And if you tossed another engine in the backseat, it'd technically be the fastest twin.
The LancAir 4P is a fully pressurized version of the 4 and is only the fourth pressurized single-engine piston-driven aircraft in general aviation history. The system has a 5-pound pressure differential, giving you a comfortable 8,000-foot cabin pressure when you're cruising at 24,000 feet, and it's fully automatic. But the LancAir is also comfortable in the pattern due to the very effective full Fowler flaps. Extend these flaps and you can fly the pattern at 90 to 100 miles per hour and come over the fence at about 85. When you step into a LancAir IV, you really are taking a giant step up in performance. As a service to our customers, we have a solid, independent flight training program that will teach you to take full advantage of the spectacular performance of this aircraft.
Interestingly enough, we've had customers that are building this airplane or about to. They say, well, I only fly in the 12,000-foot range anyway. And our comment to them is that because you choose to, or is it because your airplane won't climb any higher? This plane is just starting to smile as it passes through 12,000 feet and is typically passing through it at about 2,000 feet a minute still. At 20,000 feet, it's happy as a clam, and its service ceiling is really limited by the oxygen requirement, not the ability of the airframe. So we find that we fly the airplane with the weather in mind. We can overfly 90% of the weather if that's what we choose to do. We can fly high to gain the tailwinds. We can fly low to avoid them. And it's really pilot discretion rather than airframe control. And it's again, it's a refreshing freedom.
You might think that if you were going to build a plane with these performance capabilities, you'd need special building skills. But that's not true.
It doesn't require any engineering experience to put this together. It takes a lot of patience. Be very careful, step-by-step procedure, and you should have no trouble building this great airplane.
Like all our kit planes, the building process has been designed to be completed by people with average mechanical skills. The steps requiring professional expertise are completed here at the factory. All you have to do is follow our clearly designed manuals and diagrams. And if you have any questions, our online technical support is standing by to answer them.
Online technical support with LancAir was always available through a phone call. In my case, I was situated in Seattle, Washington, so I would call Redmond, Oregon quite frequently to talk to the technical experts that are on their staff. And I always had, the answer was found for me.
You could set records in this airplane every time you take off. San Francisco to Denver in 2 hours, 38 minutes. San Francisco to Los Angeles in 53 minutes. Los Angeles to Lakeland, Florida in 6 hours and 2 seconds. These are all NAA recognized world records, and they're all set with the same plane you build from our kit. We're in this for the long haul, providing you with kit planes that incorporate the beauty, strength, and aerodynamic properties of advanced composite construction. Most importantly, your plane will have behind it something no other plane can: LancAir's history of unparalleled commitment to safety, to style, and performance. We all know there's a certain allegiance among pilots, but the sense of camaraderie that exists between pilots who build the planes they fly, that's simply indescribable. It's a feeling we renew every time we go to a fly-in and experience the pride our customers have for their LancAirs. Within this group exists a certain freedom that simply does not exist anywhere else in aviation. And as long as there are people out there who want the unique fulfillment and freedom of building their own plane, we'll be here to help them do it.
Everywhere I go with this airplane, there's at least a dozen people gathered around to see it. Wherever we go with it, they all know the name LancAir IV.
Oh, there's no question I'm happy with my decision. I can't tell you how much joy and happiness I get from taking this thing out on sunny days and just blowing off some steam. It's a real adrenaline machine. When I need to get an adrenaline rush, which is what I like to do, I'm an emergency doctor. I do it in my work, I do it in my play, and there's no question that I'm happy with my decision.
The best moment flying the airplane is when you land and the crew of a DC-10 or a 727 bails out of their cabin and gets on a little cart and rushes over to take a look at your airplane. That's the most satisfying part. And that happened to us several times on a trip down in the Caribbean. Airline pilots, stewardesses, the crew, everybody get out, come take a look. And that's a good feeling.
I'm always accused of being a stone face. And when my first baby came along, Jessica, she actually inspired me to produce what's everyone has said since is a fairly distinctive trademark to the Jessica actually inspired what has become a very distinctive feature, and that's something we deliver with all of our designs.
Smile.
Smile more, smile.
Say that one more.
I don't know if I can do that.
All right, just try it.
I'm not that happy a guy. Yet with the gear, as they say, down and welded, this plane is still faster than the expensive production retractables. Yet, as they say, with the gear down and welded, the ES is still, compared to the yet with as they the ES is faster in the pattern, and can I get over here? Oh, then you just follow me, okay. Even with the gear down and welded, the ES, when compared to the expensive production retractables, not only cruises faster, but it's slower in the pattern.
That's the best run.
Okay.